I'm getting ready right now to go to Under Armour. I haven't been on their campus since I worked there as an employee. So today's a little different. All right, thank you so much. Y'all, I'm trying not to cry. I'm like so emotional right now. I used to come here to go to work. I didn't know if my purpose was right. I didn't know if what I was doing was right. And the fact that I'm here in a different capacity representing my brand, wow. Life is so full circle. And it's in the building that I used to work in. And I'm just like, some people don't understand when it's like, just hold on. It will all make sense. Man. So this is Hull. I used to work in this building. Train tracks, there's a train that comes there. I used to walk through this building, this door every day. This is where I sat and started messing a bottle because people were asking me about Freddie Gray Uprising. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're gonna go through this way.
Hi. How you doing? Okay.
Make the first right once you see this.
Okay, thank you. Man, this is our kitchen. So many memories. I could cry. Oh my God. I'm gonna try not to.
The game of women's basketball is transcending a lot, and it definitely has, especially over the past few years. 2025.
And Ty is our expert on the CIAA 50th anniversary. It's a little before your time, I know, but still, the 50th anniversary of the CIAA basketball tournament.
On campus, in the gym, ready to go, and I'm usually the last one at the end of the day.
All right, I had to sit down and make a video real quick. So almost 10 years ago, I used to be in the lunchroom at Under Armour. I am sitting in here right now. And it is a very humbling, beautiful, I almost cried on my way here. And here's why. I worked in this exact building 10 years ago as an architect at Under Armour. And today I am now in this building because I am doing a collaboration with CIAA for their 50th year of women in basketball. And they are featuring wearing my brand, Mess in a Bottle. So the fact that 10 years later, I followed my dream and I'm in this room is like mind-blowing. I literally had tears in my eyes as I was walking in here because I know how much struggle I went through to even get here in my business. I'm in the, the cafeteria right now, and right around the corner from here is where I sat. And the fact that I can now come back 10 years later, I'm a designer, I'm a creator, it's my brand, is mind-blowing to me. The growth, the evolution of me as a person, as a woman is just like full circle. Someone said something and they quoted John 13:7. Don't mistake me if I'm wrong. And they said that it will all make sense later. You don't know what God is doing for you. You don't know what He has in store for you, but it will all make sense later. And honestly, it makes so much sense. Like, this is such a gratifying feeling right now. When I left Under Armour, my boss at the time, he asked me, he said, "What are you going to do?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but I'm going to survive. I'm going to make it." And so the fact that 10 years later, I'm in this phase, I'm still smiling, I'm thriving-ish, business is a mess and it's a lot of headache, but I'm still standing 10 toes down in my own shit. 10 years later is huge for me. So I am super grateful. that I lived through to actually see this into fruition. I'm also inspired to be back at the Under Armour space and facility. I think it put a little bit of a fire under my butt for like just my next steps and what I want to do and how I want to do it. I'm grateful. I think that sometimes in life we don't know like the steps that we are taking, what, almost like why we are where we are at the time. And as I said before, it will all make sense later. So just a brief history and about my time at Under Armour. I was an architect and I worked on retail design, and I loved my job, but there was so much going on. Turmoil with my ex-husband. I had a newborn. I was trying to like start this business. I got inspired here to start this business, and I just wasn't happy. Like there was just so much mess in my life. And that's truly how my brand got started. That's truly how I started Mess in a Bottle. And I wanted to follow my dream. Like I even was able to see like Kevin Plank speak, Under Armour, like, the founder, and I heard his story. It inspired me. I'm like, I could start my own. And even now, again, I am motivated. I am, inspired to like get out there and keep going and push harder. And so I was an architect here for about 2.5 years, maybe 3. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about marketing. I learned a lot about advertisement. I learned a lot about just like, how to catapult your brand. And, I had a hard time really figuring out what my next steps were here. And I didn't know too much about entrepreneurship. I just knew that I wanted to, just start my own thing and have my own glass ceilings, to push through and to break through. And I just felt like I was stifled as an artist with my creativity, and not because of the company, but because of myself, So I decided to go out on my own. And I remember walking out the door on that final day, and I just was not sure. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't even know if it was going to make, if it was going to break or what. But it's been beautiful. It's been a beautiful journey. So I just wanted to share here what 10 years of hard work, perseverance, what it looks like. So anytime you think that, like, what am I doing here? Why am I here? This makes no sense. Just know, like Bevy Smith said, it gets greater later. And now it all makes sense. Man, I'm eating lunch in the lunchroom, and I just remember some stories. I was in my late 20s, becoming a new mom, still trying to figure out my mess. And it just reminded me how, sort of unprepared you are for life. I had a lot of mess going on in my life at that time. But I think I could have probably done better as an employee. I'm not going to say I didn't take my job seriously, because I really did. But I think that I was going through a transitional phase as well with just life and trying to like figure out like how to navigate it. And like I fumbled the bag here. I'll say that a little bit, and I know, like, don't get me wrong, like you are where you're supposed to be in life. But when I look back now, and as I'm like here having lunch, I'm like, Under Armour was a very like sort of free flow space. Like, it wasn't like you had a boss with your foot on your neck all the time. Like it was a very like, we would have huddles, we would have meetings, think of different stories. I still will say to maybe my younger self, I probably would have told myself to take it a little bit more serious. I really think I made a lot of mistakes here. But I would also say that I was going through a very tough time. I was in a very emotional, abusive relationship, and it wasn't healthy. And so, and I even at that time, I didn't even know what that looked like, what that meant. And I was trying to still navigate that as a young woman. And, so yeah, there was a lot of mess made, a lot of mistakes that I wouldn't go back and change them, but I think that I honor them and acknowledge them, especially while I'm in this space. I learned so much. I learned so much about myself. I was able to get out of my abusive relationship and, navigate becoming the woman I am today and greatness that I am doing today. So, you know, nothing is by mistake. Everything is by design. And, you know, and now I got employees that be working my last. But, you know, I've learned so much. I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to do all of this, because I don't think, you know, it made me into the woman that I am today.